And what is up, crowd? Hey, 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 how's everybody doing tonight? Dr. Chris Roddenberry coming to you live from Johnston County, North Carolina. What's going on in Johnston County? Not a stinking thing, right? Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Everything coming around? Give me a quick check on the stream quality. Hi, Max. Hi, Rylan. Good to see everybody. Fantastic. I am glad to have you folks here tonight for my course orientation. I love teaching Psych 150. I love teaching online, and I love meeting young students and hearing what kind of rock and roll or dance music that they are listening to. One of my favorite things in the whole world is to rock out. I rock out to rap. I rock out to rock. I like it as long as it's loud, aggressive, and fairly obnoxious. Anything you've got. So feel free this semester to give me your suggestions for music that you might think I like, because I'm darn sure going to give you suggestions for music that I like. Thanks for coming, everybody, tonight to the course orientation. I know you probably didn't want to come here, and this is the last time you ever have to see me again if that's what you want. What I wanted to do was just to take this opportunity to get you oriented to this class so that you can get out of the gate and start going just as quickly as possible. I've been doing this for 27 years, and one of the things that I can tell you is that summer school classes move much faster than your regular semester classes, so it's important that you know exactly what's going on as quickly as possible. I'm running on about a 4-second delay, so when you ask your questions, it's going to take me a couple of seconds before I can respond to you. It's good to see everybody. Molly, Luna, Ren, Noah, Emma, Ava, Haley, Salah. You know, I give YouTube lectures 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. On YouTube. If you want to hear my lectures, you're more than welcome to log in live at 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday and listen to my lectures live and ask questions and participate in the class. If you'd prefer or you don't have time, you can watch these as recorded lectures. The links that I provided in Blackboard will be recordings as soon as I finish with the lectures. You can watch them later if you want to hear what I've got to say, but don't have the time to make it at 9 a.m. in the morning. Or if you want, you can ignore me completely and just read your textbook and look at the PowerPoint presentations. You know what? I don't care. However you want to experience my class is completely fine with me. The only thing you have to do is make sure you complete all the homeworks, all the collaboration activities, and all of the exams. So I will let you interact with this class any way you want. I see that we've got 37 out of 85 students here. That's a pretty good number for a live broadcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. Does anybody have any quick questions that they'd like to ask me right off the bat? Go ahead and type them in the chat bar and I will be sure to answer them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you and show you the Blackboard website and just walk you through it for a few minutes just so that you can figure out what you're doing in this class. If you read the Getting Started folder and looked over my Blackboard class really carefully, you're going to know everything I say tonight. However, if you're like me and you did a halfway view of the course Blackboard and didn't really pay attention, kind of like I would do, this orientation is going to be very, very helpful for you. Do you use the calendar in your Blackboard? I think I do. All of my assignments should appear in the Blackboard, Toby. That's a really good question. However, if you sign up for the Remind texting tool, like I asked you to, you won't even need the course calendar because I will send you reminders. How many of you, oh, that's a great question. Leah wants to know if she should buy the textbook. What I am supposed to tell you is that yes, you should buy the textbook and you should buy the current edition. However, I will tell you that you should not buy the brand new edition. You should buy the cheapest copy that you can find on the internet. You should also try to find the current edition that we are using. We are in the third edition right now, so you should buy this. Some people say, "Hey, Chris, I found that there's a second edition for $5 on the internet. Can I buy the second edition?" I will say you can do that. However, sometimes in my quizzes and homeworks, I will refer to a chart or a graph that's in the third edition that's not in the second edition. If you choose to buy an older edition, you cannot count on me for page numbers or for pictures or graphs that are in the textbook. So it's sort of buyer beware. If you want to do it, you can do it. Buying a textbook will help you do well in this class, but I do understand people are short on money these days, especially with gas at $27 a gallon. Food, incredibly expensive. Everybody's struggling, working 1, 2, and 3 jobs trying just to get by. So you do the best you can, Leah, okay? And I will help you out as much as I can. What time are the lessons every day? Anya wants to know what time the lessons are every day. Unfortunately, no. I like my evenings, Anya. So I'm only going to do one evening webinar, and that's on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. The live lectures will be every morning, Monday through Thursday, from 9 to 9:50 a.m. I'm sorry, but that time just works for me. And unfortunately, I'm the only one that has to be here every day, so the times have to work for me. So I do my lectures at 9 in the morning, and I will have an optional webinar every Wednesday night, and you are welcome to attend that if you want. Anya, okay, that's a great question. Another question by Ava. Does attending the live streams affect our attendance at all? No, it does not. That's why you don't have to attend them. What I'm supposed to do, what a true online class is supposed to do, is to give you an experience that is as close to the seated class as possible. So I get up every morning, I get on YouTube, and I give you a live lecture. If you want that live lecture, please come to it. I usually have 10 or 15 hardcore fans that come to every lecture. They ask questions and we have a great time. However, Ava, I know that not all students can make the lectures at 9 a.m., so it does not count against you if you don't come. I record these lectures for those people who are interested but don't want to come. And if you think you can get by with the textbook and the PowerPoint presentations, you don't have to come at all. That's a great question, Ava. No extra credit for coming to the morning lectures. However, you will get to see my bright, shining face. You will get to see whatever cool hat I happen to have that day. And we can talk about rock and roll, rap music, and psychology if you want. So I do hope you come, Ava. All right? Another question. If I were to do the PowerPoints rather than live, would I receive the same credit? Yes, Molly, absolutely. This is what I like to call a universal course. If you're the kind of person who really would rather be in a seated class, I'm going to give you 3 hours of live interaction every week, just like you would in a normal seated class. If you're the kind of student that wants a hybrid and you want to do all your homework by yourself, but you want to meet with the teacher once a week to ask questions, you can come to my Wednesday night webinar. If you're one of those students that just wants a completely asynchronous experience and you do not ever want to see me again, you do not have to see me. So I basically set it up, Molly, so that you can do this class any way you want. You can do fully live, you can do hybrid, you can do completely asynchronous. I have a great time talking. I love to listen to my own voice, and I love to interact with students. So that's why I do this. But if you can't make it, Molly, don't feel bad about it. It is completely cool. If you were to do that, let's see, Leah George says, thank you, you're welcome. And what's the difference between the webinar Wednesday night and the morning lectures? You know what? That is a great question. Here's the deal. The lectures are when I talk about the textbook, and I'm giving you facts and talking about the items that will be on the homework and the quiz. Now, how many of you have other online classes where you have a weekly discussion board? If you have a weekly discussion board in your other classes, go ahead and type me yes in the chat board. Let me know if you have live chats in your other classes. Do you have discussion boards that you have to do in your other classes? Absolutely. Everybody has to do a discussion board. Do you know why? because you are supposed to demonstrate some sort of social interaction in your online courses. Okay, how many of you do not like your discussion boards? How many of you do not like doing discussion boards? Okay, so in all classes, you are supposed to have some sort of social interaction, and the teachers make you do that using discussion boards. Do any of you like them? Actually, I have to admit, I don't really like discussion boards. Shh, don't tell my boss. But they are not my favorite part of the class. So what I do is I offer a Wednesday webinar in Microsoft Teams every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. If you are not the kind of person that loves discussion boards, you should come to my Wednesday night webinar. We'll play games, we'll do group work, we'll solve puzzles. I'll show you really cool and crazy videos. What I've set up, let's see, I forget who asked that question. I think that wasn't Ryan, was it? It was Toby. Toby, here's the deal. If you want to do the discussion board, you do the discussion board. If you want to do the Wednesday webinar and have social interaction, you can do the Wednesday webinar. They are both the exact same thing. What I'm doing is I'm giving you the option to complete your weekly collaboration either way. If you don't like me and you say, God, this guy's obnoxious, he's loud, I don't want to do that. I love discussion boards. Do the discussion board. That's completely fine. If, on the other hand, you say, wow, I like this guy and I want to hang out and talk about psychology for 1 hour every week, and I hate discussion boards, then you log into the Teams meeting and you do the discussion board with me, and then you don't have to, you do the webinar with me, and then you don't have to do the discussion board. Does that make sense to everybody? The webinars are usually 45 minutes. I'm asking you to stay 35 to 40 minutes. It doesn't matter if you come 5 minutes late, doesn't matter if you leave 5 minutes early, but you should be prepared to participate in some degree. If you say, hey, I'm just going to log into Microsoft Teams and then walk away from my computer, not going to work. Not going to work, okay? I don't give credit if you don't say anything during webinar. So not only am I taking attendance, but I am looking for participation. So if you just want to check the box off, do the discussion board. Please, won't hurt my feelings at all. What I want are the hardcore nutsos that want to talk about psychology in webinar. And if that's what you really want to do, then you should come to my webinars on Wednesday nights. No, Crafty Table wants to know if I send a link for the webinars each week. No, the webinars are on Microsoft Teams. What you should do is log into Microsoft Teams and then look at your calendar in Microsoft Teams, and you will see a calendar invite every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Click on that calendar invite and that will take you into the webinar. Daniel wants to know if you listen to my lectures and look over the PowerPoints, would we ever have to read the book? Here's the deal. In some universities, I took classes at Duke when I was a young student, and the teacher would come in and say 50% of your exam is going to come from lecture and 50% of the exam is going to come from the textbook. And then the Duke professors wouldn't talk about the textbook at all. And you'd be responsible for writing notes for what they talked about and then reading the textbook too. I don't do it that way here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the textbook in my own words, and I'm going to highlight the important parts of what I think the textbook covers. And the PowerPoints are also going to be a written copy of that. So in a sense, I'm going to be talking about the stuff that's on the test. However, I reserve the right to ask you a question from the textbook that I didn't cover. I'm not going to do it intentionally, and I'm not going to do it all the time. But if I ask you something from the textbook that I didn't cover in lecture, you are still responsible for it. Does that make sense, Daniel? So I'm not really making you read the textbook, but it is going to help. And honestly, if you read the textbook and listen to my lectures, it'll really work together and there'll be a nice synthesis. But you do whatever it is you have to do. Does that make sense, Daniel? Fantastic. I hope so. Okay, good deal, right? I'm not going to try to be tricky, but I can't guarantee anything. All right. but I am not by nature a tricky or devious professor. Okay, what I'd like to do real quick is share my screen with you. You should see it popping up in a minute. Please, quickly in the chat bar, let me know that you can hear my voice. Sometimes when I change the voice, change the screen, you don't hear me. So here you go. What I want you to do, the most important thing that you need to do, is the course entry quiz. You click on this quiz link right here and take the course entry quiz. Here's the deal. I don't care what grade you make on this test. This quiz simply is your official way of checking into Blackboard. If you make a 10 or even a 0 on this quiz, I do not care. It's just my way of demonstrating to my supervisor that you logged into this class at least one time. If you do not do this by Thursday, June 3rd, you will automatically be dropped from this class. Typically, I'm not a hard butt, if you know what I mean, but this deadline is hard and fast. How many of you have not completed the course entry quiz? If you haven't typed it in, type in the chat bar. Let me know if you haven't done the course entry quiz. In the meantime, I'm going to answer Christina Hernandez's question. Great question, Christina. If you go into the lessons folder, you will see that there are folders for everything we're going to do here. There's an exam folder, there's an orientation folder, there's a week 1 folder, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. If you click on the week 1 folder, what you're going to see is there's a link for tomorrow's class, the Wednesday lecture. If you click on that, it's going to open up a YouTube page. This is where I will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Now, if you look right underneath that link, you will see that there is a PowerPoint. Click on that and it will download a PowerPoint that goes along with the lecture. You can click on that and voila, this is the PowerPoint. It's taking forever to do. So there you go. And this is the lecture for tomorrow. Okay. No, you didn't miss too much. I was just running my mouth and dancing a little bit, Lewis. Okay, you haven't done the entry quiz yet, please go ahead and do that. Now, have all of you logged in for Remind yet? How many of you have not signed up for Remind yet? How many of you have not signed up for Remind yet? If you go to the course orientation folder, let's see, course orientation folder. Okay, if you go to the course orientation folder, what you're going to see is that I'm offering the option for you to sign up for Remind messages. Now, anything in blue is optional. Things that are in red are mandatory. Things that are in blue are an optional. What I want you to do is sign up for the Remind. No, you do not need the Remind messaging app, okay? But however, if you text at SU22PSY150 to the number 81010, what is going to happen is that 6 hours before every due date in this class, you are going to get a reminder telling you, hey, you need to, you've got an assignment coming up. Let me go ahead. There you go. I went to my whiteboard. So what I want you to do is to text at SU22PSY150. Did I get that right? I hope I didn't do that one backwards. Yep, that's it. To the number 81010. If you do this, you will get a confirmation email. And what's going to happen is every deadline, every quiz, every homework, every exam, every discussion board deadline, you're going to get an email because I know you're busy. You've got all kinds of things going on. Some of you are taking 3, 4, 5 classes this summer. Some of you are working 2 jobs. Some of you have kids. Things slip your mind. So this is my way to support you and make sure that you never miss a deadline. If you don't want to join this, you do not have to. But in order to motivate you, I am adding 2 points extra credit to your collaboration grade. Okay? If you download the app, that will allow you to communicate with other students in the class. But that's the only reason you would need that. When you join Remind, you're going to get a confirmation email. That email, in a sense, comes from me. You can save that in your contacts as Chris Roddenberry. And if you ever have a question, instead of sending me an email, You can text me the question and I will answer you on text back. Here's the deal. I promise I'm not going to be sending you joke texts. I'm not going to be sending you important websites that I think you ought to look at. I'm only going to be I will send a text email around every morning for the lecture to remind those that are coming to the lecture. And then I'm going to send in due date reminders. And you know what? If at any point it gets too much and you don't want to be in my remind group, send me a text and say, Chris, pull me out of this remind group. And you know what? I'll let you keep your extra credit. This is one of those money back guarantees. You can't lose here. In fact, if you wanted, you could join Remind today and then send me a text tomorrow and say, Chris, I want to unjoin. I'll still give you the 2 points extra credit. Okay? Thank you. There you go. I got Ryan helping me out, typing in the chat bar. Thank you very much. Yes, Ava, you are allowed to. In fact, I'd prefer you send me a remind text than an email. And anyway, what I'm going to attempt to do this semester is I'm going to try to respond to every email or text that you send me within 1 hour. So if you are lost, having trouble, please don't hesitate to send me an email or a text. I will respond almost immediately to you. And you know what? It doesn't matter what time you text me at. You know, being an online teacher means that I can sleep in till 12 o'clock on Fridays if I want. I can take a nap and I don't have to work from 3 to 6 o'clock at night. So I feel like I am obligated to respond to you at 9, 10, and 11 o'clock p.m. So if you need any help when you're doing your assignments, especially on due dates, please feel free to text me and I'll respond back to you. I do not have a big... how long are the 9 a.m. lectures? Great question. The 9 a.m. lectures are 50 minutes. And I have user statistics. Usually most students will come and log in for 20 to 25 minutes. Again, I can't tell how long you're here or not here, Mally. So it's whatever you want to do. I promise there's only good things for coming to my lectures. No bad things for not coming to my lectures. I promise, I promise, I promise. What book are you supposed to have? Shakina Howell. This is the book that you were supposed to have. Psychology in Your Life. Grissom and Gazaniga, 3rd edition. There is a picture of it and the ISBN number in your Getting Started folder if you need that information. And I told the class earlier, please do not buy any course supplements. Buy the cheapest copy of this book that you possibly can on the internet. 20, 25 bucks, 30 bucks, I don't care. Please do not spend a lot of money on this class. That's okay, Shanika. Do you have the same author? Do you have this book, the 2nd edition maybe? Or do you have the 4th edition? Which one do you have? If you have another author, if you have one that's not written by Grissom and Gazaniga, then you potentially have a problem. But if you have the Grissom and Gazaniga book, even if it's an edition old, you still should be okay, all right? Now, one thing I do want to explain to you, how are we going to do course orientations in here, the collaboration grade? All right, so let me go to my whiteboard. Collaboration, let's say weekly collaboration equals 10% of your grade. Okay, so each week, you have to do one of 2 things. Do either discussion board, or you have to attend the webinar. And just to make sure, I'm going to put a big or here. Or attend the webinar. You on Wednesday night in Teams. You do not have to do both. Does that make sense? You do not have to do both. Okay? Is there a link to buy the book online? Yes, I think I have a link to buy the book online, but please don't, Cielito. Well, actually you can, but you are going through the publisher and you are going to pay the highest price possible. So if you can, Cielito, please try to buy it somewhere other than the link in class, okay? So you do not have to do both, all right? So here's the deal. But if you do both, you get EC. How many of you like EC? Do you like EC? Let me show you how your collaboration grade is going to work, okay? Right now, your collaboration grade is 100, okay? If you signed up for Remind, it is now 102, okay? Here's the deal. If you miss a week, minus 10, okay? If you do discussion board, but not completely, minus 5, okay? If you do discussion board and webinar, it is plus 1, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Jim Bro wants to know if we do Proctorio here. No, we do not do Proctorio here. However, I do write new quiz exam questions and homework questions every semester. I try to make it so that it is hard for you to cheat. And if I do catch you cheating, I will pursue you to the ends of the earth to make sure that you fail this class, okay? Am I in the wrong class? This is Psychology 115. 150. Christian N, this is in the 150 class. This is the Psych 150 class. Okay? Our tests are not open book. Tests are not open book. Tests are not open book. And you know what? If you cheat, you're just a cheater, and you should feel badly about yourself. Okay? This is college. You're supposed to be here if you want to learn something. If you want to cheat and I don't catch you, I guess it's just on you. But you know what? Do you really want a brain surgeon or a pilot that cheated their way through school? Absolutely not. Do you want to be a cheater? Are you that kind of person? I hope you're not. I'm going to set this class up so you are not going to fail it as long as you try. Okay? So you really shouldn't be cheating. And you know what? You might say, well, Chris, what if I make a C in this class? Do you know what happens if you make C's for the next 2 years at Wake Tech? You get your degree. Okay? Making a C is not the worst thing that ever happened to anybody. You know what? I made a D in second semester calculus at UNC Chapel Hill, and I'm still Dr. Roddenberry. You should be here because you want to learn something and better yourself. So I'm going to ask you not to cheat. I'm going to try to keep you from cheating, and if I catch you cheating, I will prosecute you. But I am not going to spend my time setting up Proctorio or WebProctor or any of these other proctoring tools because they're a pain in my butt. All right? So if you look in your grade book, you're going to notice that there's a collab grade, and that is equal to 100 right now. You have a Remind EC, and that is plus 2. And then you have a Collab EC, and that can equal plus 7, potentially. And this is potentially. Okay? And then you have a final Collab grade, and that equals all of these things added together. Okay? If you miss a week, minus 10, down to 99. Miss 2 weeks, you are minus 10, down to 89. Do you see how that works? Do you see how that works? Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody understands how we're going to do collaboration in this class. Okay, any questions at this point? We're 30 minutes in. I promise it'll be 5 more minutes and then I'm going to let you go from out of here. You know what? Let's go quickly to the screen share one more time. How do I know what to do every week? Okay, here's the deal. If you go to your lessons folder, what you're going to see on the outside of every lesson, it's going to tell you when that week is occurring. So this week is May 31st to June 5th. And you need to do the orientation and you need to do chapter 1. You have discussion board 1 and lecture homework 1. That's what's due this week. Okay? Excuse me. I didn't hit the screen share button. There we go, the screen share button. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that, Hunter. Sometimes I get excited and I don't scare. Oh, Caleb McMillan has joined. Oh, that's from another class. How long are the exam prep sessions? Okay, yeah, I will have a review session every Friday morning for the exam, and it will be 50 minutes. And basically what I do is I open up the exam so I can see it and you can't, and I go through and I basically tell you what you need to know while I'm looking at the exam. Most students say that the exam review sessions are incredibly helpful. I tell you how many questions from each chapter, I tell you about what I want from each question, and I tell you whether or not I want matching or multiple choice or short answer. Okay? Now, if you look here, so for week 2, next week, you have to do chapter 2 and chapter 3. There's going to be a discussion board 2, there's going to be a lecture homework 2, and then we're going to have exam 1. So each week you should be able to see what the required activities are and what the chapters are. Okay. Yes, the webinars will definitely help. The webinars will definitely help. The lectures, the PowerPoints will be super helpful. The lectures will be pretty helpful. And the exam preps will be very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. All of my YouTube lectures will be done live. But if you can't make it live, each of my lectures, including the exam reviews, will also be a recording as well. Okay? Now, one more quick thing I do want to tell you. If you want to send me an email, I'd prefer you text me, but if you want to send me an email, please use this button right here. Go to Blackboard and send me the email. Okay? Once you do that, it clicks up an email address to me, and the cool thing is it tells me what class you're in so I can help you even quicker. Now, here's what's important about this. I have a son. His name is Chris Roddenberry Jr., and he goes to school at Wake Tech. If you go to your webmail and type in Chris Roddenberry, there's a 50% chance that you will send the email to my son and not me. Now, he has a pretty good sense of humor, and most of the time he forwards me these emails, but he doesn't always check his emails like he should. And so I have a lot of students that'll talk to me halfway through the class and they'll say, "You never answer my emails." And what I find out is that they have been emailing the wrong person. So please, please, please use the email button here, okay? Now, here's the deal. Your collaborations can be found right here. I see that 8 people have already posted on this week's collaboration. And each week, week 2, week 3, here are all the collaborations you have to do this semester. Right now, the only one you can see is week 1. This collaboration will be available until Thursday, June 2nd at 11:59 p.m. At 12 a.m. on Thursday, this discussion board will disappear and week 2 discussion board will appear. And you will have to do that one. I do not give extensions on discussion boards. You must do the discussion board. And you know what? I've already got 8 people who have logged in and been proactive. Congratulations, Haneen, Daniel, Lewis, and Hope. You are all great students who have gotten a jump on your work. I really, really appreciate that. In fact, Lewis Tapia found a very important typo. Thank you very much, Lewis, for doing that. Yes, you do have to do the discussion board. This is not a webinar. This is simply a course orientation. You must still do this week's discussion board. That's a great question, Gustavo. Gustav 487. Great question. Okay, now the syllabus and schedule. You should definitely read the course syllabus, and you should read the department and division syllabus. These are the rules for this class, and you will be bound by them. I'm not going to go over them. You are responsible for knowing them. If you violate a rule that's in this syllabus, it's on you if you don't know it. Okay? And then here's how you calculate your grade. Here's the schedule, and here are the exam dates for those of you that don't want to open my syllabus. You will find that in the syllabus schedule link. Chris's information, if you click on this, you'll see a picture of me. Look at that. That's the city of Medellin, Colombia behind me. I spent a month in Medellin, Colombia, and I highly recommend it to each and every one of you. If you want to give me a phone call, this is actually my mobile phone. You may actually call me on my mobile phone, and here's my email if you want to email me as well. Other than that, you need to know the lessons folder. This is where you're going to be most of your business. If you haven't done the course orientation, the course entry quiz, your lessons folder is empty. I have everything set up on adaptive release. It only appears after you've completed the course entry exam. Oh, Marcella is from Colombia. Dude, you know what? Marcella, I so want to move to Colombia. In fact, I'm thinking about maybe even moving there in January. Medellin is the most awesome place in the entire world. Folks, Colombia is awesome, awesome, awesome. Marcella should be proud because it is a super awesome place. I don't know where you're from, Marcella. Maybe it's not so nice, but I had a fabulous time in Colombia. So if you ever want to talk about Colombia and give me some tips as an expat, maybe even help me with my terrible Spanish, I would be more than happy to do that. Okay? All right, folks. It is 7:33 and I have held you here long enough. Does anybody have any final questions before you go? Go ahead and type in the chat bar right now, and I will chat you up in the meantime. Right, Marcella? Colombia. You know what? Aside from some illicit products, Colombia is the world's leading exporter of coffee and actually fresh cut flowers. If you have ever bought flowers for your sweetie pie, chances are you bought Colombian flowers. I went to a flower finca and it was absolutely fabulous. I love that place. I am so in love with Colombia. And here's my super cool hat. I wear this sometimes. I have lots of hats. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm into hats and shoes as well as rock and roll. So you'll always find me with some cool shoes or a different hat. Any questions? Very good. Thanks, Nick. I didn't know who Molly was. I thought maybe you were somebody else, but it's good to see you, Nick. I will remember that if you do come to my lectures. All right, folks, I'm going to let you go now. If anybody has questions and want to ask them, I'm going to hang around on on YouTube for just a moment. Otherwise, I hope to see each and every one of you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our first live chapter. And remember, tomorrow is Wednesday night, so I will have the first webinar tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in Teams. The discussion board assignments always do 11:59 on Thursdays. Homework always do 11:59 on Fridays. And your 4 exams in this class will always be due at 11:59 on Sundays. All right, folks, take care. Have a great day. It's good to see you. We're supposed to show we came to this. No, you do not get credit for showing up here, Ren. In fact, when I said it was mandatory, I was just kidding. I have no way to grade you. I just wanted to make sure you came here so I could introduce you to my classroom and hopefully tell you a little bit about the class. Okay, folks? You folks take care. It's great to see you, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.